Kaijune is in full swing. I did this for the 6th. I got my prompt from drawingreference.com and it was Rock Kaiju. I've got a desaturated picture-in-picture because I sketch in multicolor and it's disorientating for some people.
I am watching Boyle Hobby Time as I do this, and he made a giant angler fish. It has a lure, and he keeps calling the angler fish a he, and the model is amazing, and I'm so frustrated, and I have to keep reminding myself it is a lake angler fish in the wild imaginary west. It can have a lure and be a he. I'm so frustrated. Jeez, the things that get you right.
For reference, male anglerfish are sexually parasitic. They latch onto the female and become growths. Essentially, they don't have lures and they don't hunt or anything. Maybe if I tell myself it's a trans monster lake angler, it'll work better in my head. Probably not.
I should have done the tall instead of the long. I just want to know. Yeah, for a Rock Kaiju, I think that's right. Don't know what I'm doing. That's too big. Like, kaiju are supposed to be big, but I need to be able to actually fit it on the camera. I'm just making body shapes at this point, and it's far too human. Like, I know kaiju, a lot of them are based on, like, a lot of kaiju really are, like, from Godzilla movies, like the old ones from Japan, and they were just people in suits, so they did look very human-shaped, but also I am not a human in a suit, so...
My attempted point here was that I am not constrained by the shape of the human body, but I don't think I really got that across.
One thing I think about a rock kaiju is it should probably have lots of crystals or something growing out of it, but I don't know where I want those coming out of it.
Take note how long it takes me to actually start drawing crystals, because it's a while.
You know, I really admire Boyle Hobby Time. I'm glad that sometimes he's like, yeah, I done
Filthed up.
too. Or like, that was a terrible idea, I don't know why I did that. He doesn't swear. It makes me feel better that people who know what they're doing are still like, no, I just did the thing and the thing was not a smart thing to be doing. And I like how often they can fix it and make it work, and I hope one day I can be that way too. That's why fumble through is a thing. Like, fumble through is both a learning process and an attempt to emulate things I admire in people. But yeah, he made it work. I did not make my last fumble through work, and I really don't want to show it. I'm embarrassed by it. It's so bad, but I'm going to, because I will. So drawing reference wants me to come up with like a background and powers and all sorts of stuff. It's like real legit about its prompts in a way a lot of other places aren't. A lot of them are like geode or portal or whatever. Kaijune, unlike Mermaid, doesn't really have a specific official site that I know of, so I just kind of pick one every day, and this is the first time I've ever picked this one. It's like, no, you're gonna world build around this kaiju. And I was like, I do like to world build, though I know jack
Shame.
about kaiju.
I do really like world building, but I didn't actually world build much for this kaiju. I'm still not used to recording, and I was watching Boyle Hobby Time, and I was just chilling, so I didn't do much world building for this. I will eventually give it lightning powers. If you have problems with flashing lights, I want to apologize for the scroll wheel that's gonna keep coming up real fast, real regular, because that's not gonna stop anytime soon, and it sucks, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're gonna make another layer, and I don't want to draw a city. I'm doing a city for a different thing. What are you destroying, good sir, or ma'am, or NB?
One of the things Drawing Reference wanted was for the kaiju to be interacting with something, and I was insistent in my head in this moment that it be a city. So my final design is not half as chunk as this, but I do love this chunker. I wish I'd kept it. I just didn't think.
Okay, I reread over drawingreference.com's like wants for this Kaijune project that they do, and they, like my drawing teacher, want an action pose. And like, I get it, I do. I just also don't want to do an action pose because I'm lazy. I don't really know how to do an action pose for a thing that don't have arms or head, but I'm trying.
I am the one who decided to draw it without arms or head, and I'm also the one who decided that I would in fact put it in an action pose, so I don't really have room to complain, but I will anyway. Look at that wasp waist I gave it. I miss my chunker. I don't know why I did that. Oh well.
Here's the thing. I know plenty about human anatomy. I don't know
Shame.
shit about rock anatomy.
And here the kaiju strides forth with purpose and jolly. I have no idea why I did that pose. It doesn't stay. Told ya, lightning powers. I don't actually put as many crystals on this final design as I did on my first sketch either, and I liked the original sketch better for that. I think it's just because I have trouble with poses and I was more focused on that than anything else. At this point I was still sure I needed to do a city, so I did a silhouette of a city very scribbly because I did not want to draw a city.
Does it look good? No. Is it functional? Yes. And sometimes you gotta take what you can get. Okay, so I had a thought on what I want, or what I could do. I want it to be coming out of a cliff. I was so insistent in my head that it be interacting with something that humans had made, but it does not have to be doing that.
I probably could have made the cliff more interesting, but I didn't know how. I live near the Grand Canyon, you'd think I'd have an idea how to do that, but no, I didn't. I was just like, let's just make the column here at the edge of the canvas. So I basically finished for the day about here. At about 2 in the morning, I decided it needed to be lined. I wanted to have something halfway finished. I didn't color it, it was 2 in the morning, but I wanted to have something that felt a little done. Mostly I just wanted to feel like I'd had a productive day. I do still wish I'd kept that super broad chest that it had, it was great. I'm not sticking super close to my sketch lines. I'm doing a bit, but I'm kind of altering them as I go. I always do that. My sketch is a base, not the finished product. I am trying to make it look more like it's pulling itself out of the cliff. I don't know how well that worked, but I tried. And that matters. I was trying to get the ribs to look like they were still part of the cliff, kind of. And I think I put little falling rocks down there later too, so maybe I did a decent job, I don't know. Color would help a lot in this image, making it look like it's coming from the cliff, but I don't like this image enough to color it several days after the fact, so. I think I cropped this image twice. The way you crop is actually super important because the dead space you can have if you crop wrong or how tight it can feel if you don't is where we end up. My very productive day.